Labour are in crisis. And to distract us all from the mess that they've made of pretty much everything and the elephant in the room, Keir Starmer's tanking poll ratings, they've come up with digital ID cards, a dead cat, designed to take our eyes off their disastrous 14 months in government.
You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
So instead, they've rehashed an old Tory Tony Blair proposition, not Tory, but Tony Blair proposition, which they must know is a non-starter, given the number of data leaks and the hacks over the last few months alone.
This is a huge data breach that had never been disclosed. It led to the previous government setting up a secret resettlement scheme, bringing Afghans into this country.
That we do not close down the airport unless we have severe safety concerns. That's why we do it.
No, it's not an overstatement to describe it as traumatic. And it has endured some weeks, so we're still in the rebuild mode, and we will be for some time to come.
Meanwhile, the department store Harrods is warning customers that their personal data may have been taken in a cyber.
And that's just some of them. Jaguar Land Rover, which is facing potential collapse, Gatwick Airport, etc. I know, let's make it easy for the fraudsters and hackers. Let's consolidate your data so scamsters only need to look in one place to destroy your life. Seriously, would you trust the government to keep your data safe? The Labour Party conference starts tomorrow, but instead of focusing on, say, solving the small boat issue, which is costing us millions every day, the broken NHS and fixing the mess they've made of the economy in such a short space of time, now they are copying the Tory playbook and think that changing the leader will help fix things. They're all jostling for position. Andy Burnham is apparently on manoeuvres, as is Wes Streeting, Shabana Mahmood and Sadiq Khan are also on leadership challenges, manoeuvring. I'm not sure how helpful Sadiq will be if he has to negotiate with the leader of the free world, though.
I'm not a fan of your mayor. Why not? I think he's done a terrible job.
The mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world.
Well, I think he's been a not very good mayor, from what I understand. He's done a poor job. Crime is up, a lot of problems. I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law.
Sadiq's response to that?
I think President Trump has shown he is racist, he is sexist, he is misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic.
Sadiq, how about you put the interests of the British public first? He just can't help himself. Be dignified, button it, and prove him wrong, because from where I'm sitting, Trump is right. In the meantime, it seems Nigel Farage is living rent-free in all the party leaders' heads.
Where gun laws are rolled back, so schools have to teach our children what to do in case of a mass shooting. Trump's America, don't let it become Farage's Britain.
Nigel Farage says he wants to destroy the Conservative Party. Why on earth would we merge with that?
Yes, why on earth would you? And as of today, a poll estimates if an election were called now, Reform UK would win over 300 seats. So instead of introducing ID cards, which aren't going to work.
I do not see a single benefit to the government having digital ID other than them controlling what we do.
Instead of introducing ID cards, why not try and follow what Nigel Farage is doing and find out why the electorate find his plans so interesting and prepared to vote for him rather than you? So Keir Starmer has achieved the incredible. He has united Zara Sultana, Ed Davey, Kevin Badenoch and Nigel Farage against his ridiculous proposal of ID cards.
Have you had a random call lately from a strange number, maybe trying to sell you something or even scam you? If so, your info could be out there. That's because of data brokers, shady companies that scrape the internet for your personal details and sell them to marketers or even scammers. These days, scammers can even use AI to mimic your friends' voices and trick you into sending money. It's not just annoying. Data brokers often target vulnerable people with high-interest loans or sketchy offers. But there is a solution. Incogni, the sponsor of this video. Incogni contacts data brokers on your behalf and requests your info be deleted from their databases. And because your data can keep popping up, Incogni keep sending removal requests to make sure it stays gone. They've just launched a new unlimited plan with custom removals. If you find your info on a weird website, just send them the link and their privacy team will work to get it taken down. Getting started is easy. Hit the link in the description, create your account and let Incogni handle the rest. It's risk-free for 30 days and you'll get 60% off an annual plan with the code GBNews. Take back control of your data with Incogni.
Well, let's bring in political commentator Susie Stride. Susie, welcome to the programme. Apart from the few glitches, it's annoying that, but never mind. You know the point I'm making, frankly. Why on earth is the Labour Party talking about digital ID when there is so much more to do?
If I'm honest with you, Nana, we know one of the biggest things, well, the two biggest things on the doors is the economy and immigration. And in fact, it's been that way for quite a long time. And, you know, been on your show a number of times talking about how, you know, the Labour Party needs to make sure they have strong policies on immigration, because if they don't, that, you know, we're going to struggle to win the next election. And what ID cards are about is actually it's not going to be the silver bullet. It's not going to be all the answer. No way. There needs to be lots of actions taken. But one of the key things is having ID cards. One of the key things that can help, because we need to have those things that are push factors to people, that say to people, actually, you can't just come and work here illegally. And this will be a key way that we achieve that.
How? I'm confused, because the kind of people who are defrauding the system, or the kind of, just say, for example, I've come here on a dinghy, I'm now going to work for Just Eat or Uber, whatever the things are, some Deliveroo, perhaps, I don't know whether Uber are allowing it, but a lot of the delivery companies are, we know this, and I end up doing that. There's no, where would the digital ID, what would be the thing? Because it's probably cash in hand, some of it. None of it is really written down or authorised in a way. Why are these people going to suddenly go, oh, I didn't bother with any of the other things, but I'm going to bother with digital ID?
Look, obviously there are going to be things that are going to still need to be fleshed out with the policy, but the fact is people knowing that they can't just come here and slip under the radar is going to be very important. And I think the other thing that is important to say as well with digital ID is, and you may not agree with this, but the way that will centralise our health data information. And at the moment, loads of people find it incredibly hard to get hold of their health documents, to, you know, if they're getting like a certain diagnosis or assessment. There's all this bureaucracy. And actually, and I thought you guys would be for this. I thought GB News would like this.
Are you mad?
It's cutting out some of that red tape. It's cutting out some of that bureaucracy. And it's making it easier for people to access their information. It's actually giving people freedom to access their information.
But at what cost? At what cost? Listen, my problem with this is only today we heard of some hacking for Harrods. Jaguar Land Rover are close to collapse because of some other hacking and data breaches. We've had hacking for airports and everything else like that. So somehow bad actors are managing to get in to our supposedly secure systems. So imagine that a bad actor decided to steal all your ID because it's all nice and convenient from them on a digital ID card. What checks and balances will the government put in place? They can't even protect their own data. Remember the Afghan data breach?
I mean, look, and I agree with you, that is very scary. I think that's very scary for all of us, isn't it? You know, it is so important that you have that divide of what is your personal information that only you and maybe your doctor or whatever knows about. And I think, look, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that is scary, and I think that is a big risk. And I'm going to say we shouldn't be going over to ID cards until we can, what's that word, you know, really properly safeguard it with the right defences. Now, clearly, we are able to do that with certain information because there's military information that never gets out unless someone puts it in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly. There you have it. Exactly. So, look, I put it to you, Susie, that this is a dead cat. This is a dead cat. They're swinging about in the hope that something will stick, so we will take our eyes off the illegal migration, the issue with the channel, how much money we're spending on channel migrants, putting them in hotels and giving them nice new clothes and lots of food, and how the one in, one out has failed catastrophically. I put it to you, Susie, this is a dead cat, isn't it? Because exactly as you say, you shouldn't be putting this out until you have the infrastructure in place to protect it. And right now, they just don't.
No, I don't think it is a dead cat. Look, I think it's really important. It's like Keir Starmer, he can't do anything to win. If he doesn't talk about immigration, you guys are knocking on the head. If he does, he's in trouble. The fact of the matter is this is Keir Starmer, the leader, or the British Prime Minister, listening and responding to where the British public are at on immigration and saying, we're going to take tough action. And I think lots of people are very much in favour of this. I've got lots of friends that are not Labour voters that are very much in favour of this. So I think this is Keir Starmer showing very strong action, being very decisive, and I think it is going to have an impact.
But it's tough action against the British people, because the only people that will subscribe to this digital ID, because we have to, are the law-abiding, tax-paying British public who can't get out of anything ever because they've got all our IDs anyway. The people who this is meant to be targeted at are the crooks, the criminals, illegal migrants and I'm not saying all migrants are crooks and criminals, but I'm adding them into the list of people who will evade this particular issue and somehow manage to work anyway. Then it's going to be the same people. And then you've got the hackers and the clever people who will just manage to get around it in some way. It is going to do absolutely nothing to stop illegal migration.
Oh, look, I don't agree with that, and I also don't think the evidence shows that. I think you can see with certain countries in Europe that have imposed this.
Which ones?
Germany,
yeah, but they've got one of the worst. They've got the worst issue with illegal migration there ever. Yeah. In fact, all across Europe where they have this, it's terrible.
Sorry, look, yes, let me finish. At the moment, we have, global illegal immigration going on. It's a big global problem. Okay, so so every country is struggling with it. But evidence shows that, look, the Tony Blair Institute, whether you like them or not, I think they're great, and the research that they bring out is great. They have done mass research into this, which shows, A, that the British public are for it, that it's actually cross-party. Tory, Labour, Lib Dems, people from all different party backgrounds are for it, and also that it has been proven to work in countries like Estonia, Germany, Italy, Spain. Now, listen, Nana, I know, there's always going to be a drawback to any policy. There's always you know me, look, I'm the ever optimist. And do you know what? I don't want us to sit on our hands and do nothing. And I know you don't want us to either. We both agree that actually we need to bring levels of illegal immigration down, and we need to control it for those people that are coming over in boats, people who are drowning in the channel, but also for tax paying British people. And I think sitting on your hands, that is the wrong thing to do. I think Keir Starmer is taking decisive, strong action, and ID cards are the right way ahead.
Well, I think it's not so much sitting on hands as sitting on your fingernails, really. I mean, this is just nonsense. Look, the reason why you say ID cards work in every country and they're the ones that, OK, not at all, and you also said all over the world they have a problem with mass migration. No, they don't. In Africa, there's no problem with people mass migrating in parts of Africa. In fact, a lot of people are leaving there. In places like Russia, people aren't mass migrating into Russia. They're not mass migrating into China. They're not mass migrating into Japan. You know why? Because in those countries, you don't get a free house or a free flat or whatever it is you get. You don't get a space in an HMO. You don't get clothes and food and everything else like that. You don't get that in those countries because they don't tolerate it. You wouldn't migrate to North Korea because they wouldn't have it. They wouldn't have it. Even South Korea wouldn't tolerate it. It's us lot, the tolerant fools, that are tolerating nonsense, which is why it's happening. And as for the parties all agreeing, to be frank, Keir Starmer has done the incredible and united Zara Sultana, Ed Davey, Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage all against the digital ID. So I don't know where you got that from, Susie. Where did you get that from, that they all agree?
Well, a couple of different things. You've got the leaders of the parties, and that's fine, and they can believe whatever they want to believe. But this is them polling, an extensive poll across British people. And I'll be honest with you, I care more about what people think than what the leaders think.
So what was the poll question specifically? Because if, if somebody says, do you want to ensure that this, that and the other, then people might say yes. But if they'd asked you specifically, do you want to carry a digital ID card, I'd say the majority of people would say no. Quickly answer that and I've got to go.
To come back to your point, I would never want us to ever be like Putin's Russia or China. Thank God, this is the greatest country in the world. I know you. I think it, and we're never going to be like those countries. There's a flipping reason why people don't want to migrate into those countries, because they're the state that they are. They don't have free speech like we do, or all the great things that this country has.
All right, Susie, we're running out of time. We're running out of time, but I guess in your defence, those countries probably have a very staunch ID process, and you can't get away with anything, which is why nobody wants to come into it. So if Keir Starmer's trying to make us like that, then maybe he may have a point. Susie Stride, thank you very much. Right.